freaking hot out here. My phone says it's 94 and it's early afternoon. Anyway, the plan is on the TR6, I've ordered fuel line, NICOP line. I'm just going to replace that line. I flushed it 3 times, blew it with compressed air 3 times. The last time came back pretty clean. It still had some trash in it. NICOP tubing comes in tomorrow. In the meantime, we're going to revisit the TR6 engine. I want to get it running more than a few seconds at a time without having to shoot fuel in the carburetor. So I've got a fuel pump that came in. I'm going to replace the fuel pump. I'm going to stop up all these, what I perceive to be these vacuum leaks. There's one right here. Yeah, one right there. I'm going to try to stop up all the vacuum leaks. Anyway, and shoot some carb cleaner into the carburetor, drop the float bowls. See if we can look at underneath here. Drop the float bowls. I'm going to replace the needle and seats and spray carburetor cleaner up there. Put a new gaskets on the bowls. Hook up a fuel tank and see if we can get it running for more than a few seconds at a time on its own. Stick around. Fun's getting ready to start. There's a look inside the first float bowl. Yeah, you can't see it, it's nasty. Full of crap floating around in there. Let's pour it out, see what it looks like. Alright, that's what I have inside the bowl. Nasty as crap. I'll take the gasket off. This piece here, which has an O-ring on it. Replace the O-ring, put all that in carburetor cleaner. Dip in carburetor cleaner and clean it. This stuff here is nasty too. I don't know what that is floating around in there, but excuse me. I can see why it won't run. All right, let's get it cleaned up. Here's the O-ring I was talking about on that drain plug in the float bowl. It's got tabs. See the tabs right there? In order to keep from breaking those, I just got a 11/16 socket. Shoved it down there. Well, it's in the bowl, of course. Collapsed the tangs, and then just gave it a bump out with a screwdriver. I ordered one of these just in case I break it. That's the way to do it without breaking the tangs on it. Sprayed a little of that carburetor cleaner in there. It didn't do a great job, but I hope it does a better job on the carburetors. Okay, here's what it looks like on the carburetor side. That tube there is completely stopped up. That one's stopped up some. Of course, there's trash, as you can see in here. So all I'm going to do is get a look at the float level from side to side so I can kind of match where it is. Usually the float sits level in the bowl with the bowl, and that seam is in the right position. And then I'm going to replace this needle and seat right here and clean up these floats, shoot the carburetor cleaner up there, try to unstop those holes, blow some compressed air through there, and put it back together. I can't see what I'm doing here. Trying to clean this upside down. Put that in. Turn it like so. There we go. I spray upside down. All right, we're going to reassemble. We got the sediment trap clean, new O-ring, clean bowl, floats clean, gasket, new needle and seat, clean the screws. I put a little Loctite down on the screws. A couple of them were bare to get out, so we're going to reassemble and get started on the second one. I want to clarify one thing. I said the float bowl needs to be level. Float needs to be level with the bowl or the base of the carburetor. I'm talking about parallel. See the seam right there? The float bowl is parallel with that seam. It's not sitting like that. Not the float bowl with the carburetor base. And that seam, parallel. That's usually a good starting place for a float level. There's a spec, I don't know what it is on this, but I think it'll get me by. All right, we're getting a little cloud cover now. I like it. Let's see what we have. I replaced the fuel pump right there and just ran a temporary line to the gas tank and a temporary line over here to the carburetors. Walk around here. Teed off right there so I can feed this one, parallel off, feed this one. I think this thing here is just maybe a balance tube or something. And I think I have everything blocked off vacuum wise. Right there was one, here was one. There was another one that needed to be plugged. One right here, one back here. I think that's all the open or potentially open vacuum fittings, or vacuum ports or whatever. So let's, I spun it over here for just a minute or two till the oil pressure came up. So I guess I'll get the queen, we'll hook up a coil wire to it and see if it'll start, run, and idle. Bring you back as soon as I round her up out of the garden. All right, I went and got the queen out of the garden. She's been busting her butt out there for months in the hot, blazing sun. I spun this thing over, made sure I have oil pressure. I don't see any fuel leaks or anything as of yet, so I'm hopefully it'll start. What I want this thing to do is start, run smoothly, accelerate, idle, and then we'll shut it off if we're lucky enough and there's no problems. I don't know. I don't know anything about these carbs, but we're faking it. All right, a little fluid in here, little spark. Where's the throttle? Here we go. Let's give it a shot. See what we see. Fire in the hole. Everything's smoking a little bit. She runs. It idles fast. I'll have to adjust all that later, but at least we know it'll run. It runs smoothly. I'm happy. I guess the next step is we'll swing it in. No, I'm going to change the clutch. I'm going to change the clutch pressure plate release bearing, change the oil filter, plugs, wires, all the ignition system and everything, and then we're going to swing it into the TR6 when I get a chance to get Vern over here to give me a hand. and smoke or not, whatever. Tune it up once we get it in there. I meant to check the transmission. I'll check the transmission, make sure it's okay later. But anyway, that's the end of the video, I guess. I have no idea how much video I shot, but at least Eric, we have it running on more than 2 cylinders. It runs smooth and it idles, and to me that's promising. All right, you guys, I appreciate you watching. Queen's been working on the Duster also. She's finishing up on the cornfield right now, cornfield number 3.
1, 2, and 3.
And we've had some awesome watermelon. We picked a bunch of watermelons yesterday. We have chilled them, and they're good and cold, and we've been eating watermelon all day. Awesome watermelons, awesome tomatoes, okra. She's the garden queen, but as soon as she gets the cornfield done, when?
The next, probably today or tomorrow.
Today or tomorrow, she's gonna get back on the hanger queen in there, the ruster or the duster.
Probably tomorrow.
All right, you guys, thanks for stopping in. I'll call it a video. Whatever we have is what we have, and we'll bring you some duster video next. I'm a happy man.